These two pictures show the same man in the same navy suit, but I doubt you'll read him in exactly the same way. In one, the tonal knit feels modern, confident, and approachable. In the other, the shirt, tie, and pocket square communicate more formality and traditional authority. Neither's better, but they are not saying the same thing. And that just isn't my opinion as an image consultant. Researchers have studied how clothing influences first impressions, perceptions of status and success, and even, fascinatingly, how what we wear may affect us. Today, I want to show you 4 examples that may change the way you think about getting dressed. Hi guys, I'm Ann Lindsay, a certified image professional, personal stylist, and J.Hilburn men's custom clothier. I've spent more than 20 years helping men think strategically about how they show up. And today, we're going a little deeper into the psychology of clothing. Let's go back to these 2 images. Again, same man, same suit. What changed? The shirt, the tie, the knit, the styling. Relatively small choices, but the overall impression shifts. A 2023 academic review titled "Dress is a Fundamental Component of Personal Perception" agrees that dress deserves far more attention than we understand just first impressions. The researchers reviewed how people use dress to make inferences about things including social identity, mental state, status, and aesthetic tastes. And this is what I want you to notice. You don't need to completely reinvent yourself to change the message. Sometimes you just need to ask, what does this situation require from me? Do I need to be more approachable, more authoritative, more creative, more traditional, more current? Because getting dressed well isn't something about looking good. It's about alignment between who you are, where you're going, and how you want to be understood. Now, this is where it gets really interesting. I'm holding one fabric. The same J.Hilburn fabric can be made into either a traditional sport coat or a shirt jacket. Same fabric, same blue plaid, similar color story, but I doubt you read these 2 looks exactly the same way. The sport coat has more structure. To my eye, it reads more polished, more traditionally professional, more authoritative. The shirt jacket feels more relaxed, approachable, and contemporary. Again, neither is better, but they serve different purposes. And there's fascinating research behind this larger idea. In a 2013 study, 274 participants were shown images of a man for a maximum of 5 seconds. The researchers deliberately removed the facial information and compared a bespoke suit with an off-the-rack suit that differed only in relatively minor details. Participants rated the man across qualities including confidence, success, trustworthiness, and salary and flexibility. 5 seconds. And the man in the bespoke suit was rated more positively on more of those attributes. Now, I want to be careful here. That study does not prove that an expensive suit makes you successful, and these are J.Hilburn images, not scientific experiments, but the research does support something I have watched for decades with clients. Details that seem small can influence the total impression, which is why my question to a client rarely is, do you like this? A better question is, where are you going? What do you need this outfit to communicate when you get there? Now, let's look at these 2 outfits. This is one of my favorite examples. Both use a very similar pink lavender tailored jacket. Both are styled with a polo. No tie, no traditional dress shirt, but change the trousers and look what happens. The casual 5-pocket pant relaxes the entire message. It feels social, modern, approachable. The tailored gray trouser sharpens it. The outfit becomes more sophisticated, more polished, more traditionally professional. And yet, he's still wearing a polo. This is something many men miss. Formality is a dial. It's not a switch. You don't have just 2 choices, suit or casual. You can move the dial one garment at a time. And researchers have explored an even more interesting question. Could wearing more formal clothing affect not just how other people see us, but how we think? A 2015 paper called "The Cognizant Consequences of Formal Clothing" reported across 5 studies an association between more formal clothing and broader, more abstract cognitive processing that included a sense of power that the wearer felt. Now, I'm not telling you that if you put on a pair of dress trousers, it'll make you smarter. If it were that easy, I would sell a lot more pants. But I do think the research raises a fascinating point. We tend to think of clothing as the final decorative layer we put on after we've decided who we are and what we're doing. But what if clothing were actually part of the experience? What if what you put on helps shape how you enter the room? What if clothes affect you? Now let's look at these two men. Both are wearing navy suits. Classic single-breasted suit is polished, professional, and familiar. Most successful men understand this uniform instinctively. But the double-breasted suit, to my eye, that has a different kind of presence. It's more intentional, has more style authority, and perhaps for the man who isn't accustomed to wearing it, it requires just a little more courage to own the look. And this brings us to one of the most famous ideas in clothing psychology. In 2012, researchers introduced the term enclothed cognition. In the original study, they explored whether clothing could influence the wearer's own psychological processes. The famous experiment included a white coat. When participants believed they were wearing a doctor's white coat, researchers reported improvements in attention-related tasks compared with participants wearing the same white coat that was described as a painter's coat. Same coat, different meaning. Potentially different experience for the wearer. Now, research continues to be debated and tested, so I will not tell you that science has proven your jacket magically transforms your brain. But a larger question is compelling. What meaning do you attach to what you wear? Because I've seen something with clients for years. There are clothes you put on, look in the mirror and think, I look fine. And then there are clothes you put on and you look in the mirror and you stand a little differently. You know the difference. Maybe it's the jacket that fits you perfectly, or the shirt color that makes you look healthier and more alive, or the shoes that make the whole outfit feel intentional. Or yes, perhaps it's a double-breasted suit that makes you think, hey, I can own this room. The research doesn't prove that double-breasted suits makes you confident, but after more than 20 years of dressing men, I am very comfortable telling you that how you feel in your clothing matters, and it can change how you show up. So here's what I'd like you to take away from all of this. The next time you get dressed for something that matters, a presentation, an interview, a client meeting, a wedding, even a difficult conversation, don't just ask, does this match? Ask yourself 3 better questions. What do I need to communicate? How formal does this moment actually require me to be? And how do I want to feel when I walk in that room? Because clothing is not everything. Of course it isn't. But it also isn't nothing. And the research, along what I've seen with real closets, fitting rooms, and closet meetings, suggests that what we wear is part of how other people experience us, and perhaps part of how we experience ourselves. I'd love to know your answer to this. Have you ever put something on and immediately felt different, more confident, more capable, more like yourself? Leave me a comment, because I have a feeling almost everyone has had one of those stories. And if you're looking at your own wardrobe and realizing it may not be communicating quite what you need it to anymore, reach out. This is exactly the kind of thing I help men figure out. I'm Ann Lindsay, and thanks for watching.